right, so let's just settle into our meditation posture. I'm going to turn down the gain here. All right. And, just try and bring your mind to the same place your body is. So I don't know if your mind's all here, there, and everywhere. Just try and bring it inside and try and connect to this still place within you. If your feet are on the ground, if you're sitting at a desk, have them in a parallel position and really try and feel the earth through the soles of your feet. Sits bones are raised, particularly if you're sitting in the regular cross-legged position. And shoulders are aligned with the hips. And just imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. So just imagine you're putting some length in your spine, getting a little bit taller, putting some space in between your vertebrae. And then just from the top of the neck, just hinge your head slightly forward. Some length in the back of the neck. And just relax the back of the head, the ears, the inner ear. Relax your temples, back of the tongue. Release any tension in the back of the neck. Allow your shoulder blades and your shoulders to just drop down. Relax the throat, the chest, the belly, the limbs, hands, feet, and your fingers and toes. And bring the mind to the breath, just noticing the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. Be aware if there are any sounds in your environment, just allow those sounds to be there. And then bring the mind back to the breath and just notice what might be arising in the mind. Try not to judge or have opinions, knowing that it's okay. It's just your mind. It's good to see what's there. And you can just look at it in the same way that a scientist might be observing something, with objectivity. Maybe it's sort of grist for the mill, something that you can use in your practice. And let's just bring, excuse me, to mind all the people of our life and your loved ones, the ones you find a little bit difficult, and then those who are just complete strangers to you, remembering they can change place at any moment. And remembering that just like you and me, they all want to be happy equally, and they all equally don't want to suffer, and they all equally have this unbelievable capacity for this enlightened mind. So then we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life. Let's dedicate for Venerable Pema. I'm quite sure she's moving along into a good place. Just think of her and wish her well as on her journey through the bardo. So just remembering there is no negativity that cannot be purified, and this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we create negativity with our mind. So we start with the power of regret. So we sincerely regret from the depths of the heart, our heart, anything that we have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all past lives, and think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we're going to experience. I mean, we already know it's bad enough, so we don't want to invite any more in. And logically, it makes sense that we would pull out these karmic seeds before they ripen. So you think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. We also regret our delusions, our anger, our attachment, and all the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, well, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify ourselves, heal ourselves. So we're not asking the Buddha to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by just using his methods. You can imagine that this is, Vajrasattva is now above the crown of your head. And you can also imagine that he's this ball of white, purifying, brilliant light, if details are difficult for you. And you can also imagine he's your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. So your teacher could be, any gender, but in this particular instance, the form of Vajrasattva is male. So he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus. And this lotus, although born out of mud, is untainted by mud, just like our enlightened potential, born out of our delusions, but yet untainted by them. He has this beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are shaped like lotus petals. They're long, and they're looking at us. He's looking at us and all these people of our life in exactly the same way, with love and compassion and kindness. And he has no judgment towards them or you. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings. So the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of someone or something you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who've harmed you and just have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result in some kind of suffering for them sometime down the track, and they're never going to know exactly when that will ripen. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all the sentient beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. So we start with the body, and imagine Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose or from a waterfall, maybe very forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of all of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. So every time anyone sees you or smells you or you touch someone, it benefits their mind. So next is a purification of the speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and forcefully enters your crown, filling your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can just imagine that all the gossip, the harsh speech and useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs, all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dina Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And the next is a purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So again, the same as you walk into a pitch black room, you switch on a light. That light instantly dispels the darkness. It's the same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all your attachment and grasping and depression, violence, all of your disappointments, grudges, jealousy, all of this instantly disappears as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anurakta me bhava savasiti me piyata savakama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan savatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida me bhava sutokaya me bhava sipokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti me piyata savakama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra ahum pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are totally purified. And think there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the pure speech and mind. And this time imagine that Vajrasattva, imagine it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebova sutokaya mebova sipokaya mebova anarakta mebova savasiti mempiyata sawakama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sata aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebova sutokaya mebova sipokaya mebova Anarakta mebova savasiti mempiyata sawakama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebova sutokaya mebova sipokaya mebova Anarakta mebova savasiti mempiyata sawakama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebova sutokaya mebova sipokaya mebova Anarakta mebova savasiti mempiyata sawakama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebova sutokaya mebova sipokaya mebova Anarakta mebova savasiti mempiyata sawakama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebova sutokaya mebova sipokaya mebova Anarakta mebova savasiti mempiyata sawakama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebova sutokaya mebova sipokaya mebova Anarakta mebova savasiti mempiyata sawakama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe. So now feel you are completely purified. Not one atom of negativity is left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. So now we come to the power of resolve. And again, a very important part of this step, because we need to make a decision before we do anything. So we decide we don't want to harm ourselves or others with our body, speech, and mind. And so we think this determination, this aspiration to not harm, it's kind of like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions. So think of something that you've been working on, rejoice in your efforts, take note of your progress. Sometimes it's a little bit more difficult to judge the progress of our mind than, if we're doing a class like a yoga class or something. You can actually physically see changes. With the mind, sometimes it's hard to judge. But if you have been coming to this session, for the past 2 years fairly regularly, no doubt something will have changed. So even if you don't notice it or can't tell or not sure, be rest assured something has shifted, and rejoice in that. And then think of something that you want to work on between now and tomorrow when we meet again. And keep it a reasonable timeline for yourself. Make it easy. So Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think my Guru's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. And then think in terms of emptiness, think there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for just a little while, just for a moment. And we can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. And you can also think that the way things are appearing to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So we can just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created by doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. O Tub Chang Shin Jam Gon Galloway, Tenzing Hyang Pelaway, Konza Dog Porze, Jog Sum Kurway Leg Mon to Drew, Pa Dog Sog Dulje, Gondu Jab Ten Shog. Ursel, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us and intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please, please live long. For Geshe, a beloved teacher leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path. You are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. There you go. Lots of love, everyone. I look forward to seeing some of you tomorrow morning. So I probably will do the Medicine Buddha tomorrow morning.